Welcome to Unlock Your Retirement, powered by the Wealthcare Investment Center. We believe that investing in knowledge pays the best interest, especially when it comes to your retirement. On this program, our team of elite advisors will share a wide range of unique and powerful strategies designed to maximize your retirement finances and help you create a life of purpose and fulfillment. The time to unlock your ideal retirement is now. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Unlock Your Retirement. I'm your host, Chris Heaster, and here with me are my co-hosts, Bruce Smith III and Bruce Smith IV.
3 and 4.
Together, we put together the Wealthcare Investment Team, and bringing you today's content. And today, we're talking about estate planning and 9 mistakes that could derail your legacy. If you didn't hear us in the first segment, you could go to unlockestateplanning.com to get your free copy of today's e-guide. And if you missed part of the show, you can catch us on wherever you get your podcast or YouTube. Just search for Unlock Your Retirement. So, we went through the first steps here. No estate plan, the first mistakes, not having an estate plan, having outdated documents, not having a healthcare directive, who's going to take care of you if you're incapacitated in the hospital and make those decisions. And we also talked about having a poor executor choice. In there, 46% of the people who were named executors weren't even aware of it, according to a recent study. So not only having a poor choice, but making sure that choice knows. So we're going to roll into the second segment, with the fifth mistake, and that's DIY estate plans. There's a lot of...
What's DIY? All these acronyms. Chris is our acronym expert.
So this is for all your do-it-yourselfers out there. Hey, I've managed my retirement. I've managed my finances. I can manage my estate plan. And a lot of times what happens there is unintended consequences. You change a thing and maybe you miss part of a detail, so your plans, your goal is to have a legacy. They get missed because of you're not used to doing it all the time and you just, oversee some things. When Bruce was talking about outdated documents, if you've gotten a divorce or have had a child or a grandchild, maybe you forget to, you update your will, but you don't update your beneficiary documents on your IRA. And, we didn't touch on that, but your beneficiary documents at your financial institution actually supersede your will. So if you get remarried and you update your will with your new spouse, or you lose a spouse, but you forget to change that beneficiary form, the old spouse would be entitled to your retirement plan, and that's been fought in tax court and upheld many times. So by doing it yourself, you may miss some things, that should have been caught, and just destroy what your original plans were. So if you have a complex case, if you have a lot of real estate, things like that, it makes sense to get, if it's a second marriage or things, you have mixed children, between 2 marriages there, just making sure that all those estate planning documents lined up. You definitely should contact, a professional in this area. So Bruce, I touched on a few things that might derail your legacy, by trying to do it yourself. Where are some other areas that people may overlook when they're putting together an estate plan?
Well, I'll throw one thing in there to the do-it-yourself plan before we jump to this topic. And that is, whenever you take your wedding vows, it says, "Till death us do part." This is one of the reasons why you want to involve your financial advisor, have them up to date. We do beneficiary reviews. If you're not sure where your stuff is or how it's going to flow, give us a call, set up a time. Let's go through your documents, because we do a beneficiary check, and we actually kind of talk you through. Here's what happens when you're gone. So it's till death us do part. And if during your lifetime you had everything going to your first wife, and then you got divorced, you got remarried, but you never updated your documents, and you die, it's like, okay, so now the death has occurred, and the current wife comes and says, all right, so how do we do this? And we go, you're not in the picture. And we've had that conversation. This is not something you just read about in the newspaper. This really does happen, and it's a very unfortunate circumstance. If you're a client of Wealthcare's, we go through the full beneficiary review with our clients as part of the planning process to make sure that everything's in order. We're going to ask you, do you have these documents? And if you don't have certain documents, we try to put you on the easiest path. There are both online or softwares that you can get, and it is really pretty, as young Bruce said, it's pretty much point and shoot. It's not that complex. So we go through all of this. We're talking about the estate planning. We're talking about the transitioning of remaining assets to a surviving spouse, to our family, to our kids, grandkids, what have you. And, but the interesting part is in all of these documents and all of this stuff that we're doing, there's a name that doesn't appear on any of your documents. It doesn't appear on your account form. It's not listed under the beneficiary. It's not in your will. It's not in your power of attorney. It's not in your medical directive. It's not listed anywhere. And that is Uncle Sam. But Uncle Sam is entitled to a big chunk of that retirement. And the worst job that you have done, that will absolutely reflect on how much more unnecessarily Uncle Sam, the government, will receive of your hard-earned assets. We go through this again and again with people, and when we show people this is currently what Uncle Sam is slated to go without a tax wealth management plan in place, a next level strategy in place for you to minimize what you pay Uncle Sam. And here's the tax savings. Our average client is typically a little over $1 million, and that $1 million in today dollars at age 65. If they live to 90, that tax bill over all those years, for the mandatory distribution, Social Security, everything else, could easily be $1 million during that period, which is 25 years. And in doing so, we can reduce that tax bill by $300,000 or $400,000, in many of the cases as we do our next level strategies and planning. But we also eliminate, in some cases, totally eliminate any tax costs as the money is passed on to both the spouse and to remaining family members. So tax planning is a big deal when it comes to your estate planning. And most people, they don't even want to do the estate planning because it's an admission of mortality. It's talking about death, and that's not pleasant for anybody. But what are the two things that are certain in this life? Taxes and death, and they go hand in hand when we talk about estate planning. I mean, I get really passionate about this because, I have seen people who had well wishes. I had one lady, I'll never forget her as long as I live. She came to one of my seminars when I was doing seminars. She had over $3 million in stock and a couple $1 million in land that basically was going to go to her kids. She did not have a will. She had none of this stuff. She was crossing the street in State College, and a vehicle hit her and killed her. And her kids reached out to me to talk about it, and we were developing a plan, but we had nothing in place because it was just a brand new relationship. And the state and the federal government took about 70% of all the wealth that her husband and her had accumulated in their lifetime that did not go to the kids. So that's why I get a little passionate about this. So taxes are a big deal. And then with that, Chris, this beneficiary thing is very important, how we title our assets and how we set them up. How does that work for us?
Correct. And I would like to take a second just to remind our listeners that we're not attorneys, but we will work with attorneys in making sure these changes are set up. And we'll kind of be quick as we're running out of time. But you want to make sure your assets are properly titled. There are ways to help your heirs avoid probate and save on those fees. And also for a timely matter, getting the estate distributed to you. So, you want to make sure if things should be held jointly or with your children, that's all done right. And again, working with professionals to get that done. One of the biggest, newest areas is digital assets. And, Bruce Four is kind of our resident expert on the digital world. So I'll let him take over that.
All right. Welcome to the digital age, everyone. Whenever we talk digital age or digital assets, we're not just talking about cryptocurrencies or, basically anything of that nature, even financial nature. You have social media, you have email profiles, cloud storage, basically just anything that anyone could household on the internet. So, I mean,
Anything you have a password for.
anything you have a password for. I mean, Dad had said about the black book earlier. It's no longer full of girlfriends or boyfriends or what have you. It's full of doctors. It's also full of online passwords. I've had quite a few people that are bringing those out in appointments now. We've learned a lot in the last few years, especially about the silent beneficiary. You have all of these online accounts that in some cases could go unclaimed or basically are just completely lost. Whether it's an online account where you don't have any access to it because the passwords are gone or what have you. There's a delay in the transition to the next generation. In some cases, they're not even aware of it. So, I mean, the silent beneficiary could be Uncle Sam, or in our wonderful state of Pennsylvania, it could be William Penn. So, I mean, we're watching this stuff play out on a daily basis. And, I mean, the key is digital assets are an extension of your legacy. Basically, having that inside of your estate plan and making sure that the next generation is aware of what's there will basically make sure that nothing is lost or mishandled.
And I think you pulled us nicely into that final mistake there, is not communicating the plan. If you've taken the time to build your plan, to make sure you know what your legacy is and the documents are in place to do it, but then it gets to the next generation. $84 trillion of wealth is going to pass from the baby boomers down to the next generation over the next 24 years. And 52% of us millennials have no idea where our parents' documents are. So you want to make sure that not only know where the documents are, but your family has an understanding of what the legacy you wanted to create. So that wraps up our section here on estate planning. You can go to unlockestateplanning.com to get your free e-guide to review what we talked about today. If you'd like to set a time to talk to us, go to discoverunlock.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back again.
Thank you for joining us on Unlock Your Retirement, powered by the Wealthcare Investment Center. Ready to take the next step? Download your free ebook at unlockfreebook.com and learn how to reduce market risk, lower your retirement taxes, and maximize your lifetime retirement benefits. For expert guidance, connect with one of Wealthcare's elite advisors by calling 888-888-5601 or visit unlockyourretirement.com. Don't miss our next episode of Unlock Your Retirement, where your financial future takes center stage.
And now the part that the attorneys love.
Fee-based financial planning and fiduciary services are offered by Wealthcare.com Inc., a Pennsylvania-based investment advisor. Tax-free refers to federal income tax treatment only and may not apply to state, local, or specialized taxes. Tax impact varies by individual and should be considered before transactions. Case studies are hypothetical and do not guarantee results. Recommendations are based on each client's unique data. Wealthcare and Bruce Smith are not affiliated with the Social Security Administration or any government agency. All content is informational and should not be used for financial decisions. Unauthorized use is prohibited.